Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Hey guys, and welcome to MYC Uncensored. I'm Joshita, and it's been such a long time. But again, I'm thrilled to have you here for today's episode, which is all about mindset, create your success. Let's take a moment to unpack the quote above. Success is not final means that even when you achieve success or your most significant goals at that time, the journey is not over. Our perseverance and commitment towards life goes a long way no matter what. In another context, it could mean that not any future challenges are impossible. It speaks out, I'm possible. Failure is Not Fatal talks about the setbacks and how they don't actually hurt you. It is precisely the time where you do not give up and to also try again. A great example of that is getting back up after you fall, especially if someone pushes you. Instead of crying and complaining, you just dust these haters off and continue with what you were doing, because you definitely know that they're doing it out of envy or with ill intentions. Finally, it's the courage to continue that counts, conveys that to get back up for whatever life throws at you is what truly determines success and character. Alrighty, enough analysis. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about mindset shifts. Why is that so important towards success? I know that some of you guys have experienced watching those cringeworthy videos about people trying to act like they're better than everyone, which goes something like this. After reading this book, I've understood something that no one else has, something that will destroy the people that hated me. Yeah, we get it. You're starting to lock in and enter your winter arc, but seriously, I bet half of them are joking. Well, probably that was meant to be a joke. But what if I say that they're not wrong? Overall, they're actually doing something that can completely change their life. It's obviously a bit different than whatever that was, and I'm sure that we all understand what a mindset is. Well, if you don't know, here's the literal definition reading it off from Google: the established set of attitudes held by someone. Hmm. Now you're wondering on what kind of attitudes, right? I mean, if you have a pathetic attitude that results in a pathetic mindset. To put it simply, the type of attitudes that you have determines the quality of your mindset. Now, let's specifically talk about two different types, which also result in two different types of attitudes. And I want to refer to an experience at primary school. Believe me, these two types are like black and white, complete opposites of each other. Maybe you have seen or learned about the differences between a fixed and a growth mindset. Speaking from memory, I first encountered this term in year three, I believe. There was this picture that included a comparison and contrast diagram and dot points on the side of the classroom. I vaguely recall the teacher explaining it, but I never truly understood it. I believe it went something similar to this. Growth mindset is how much you can improve and become better, while a fixed mindset involves being rigid and inflexible about the things that you can improve on. Okay, like that I understood. It made sense. Growth means growing, while fixed means not moving, not growing. But the dot points were not the ones that I understood. These drastic changes between entirely different mindsets depended on the tiniest changes in the way that you express yourself, especially in the face of a challenge. I thought to myself, what do you mean by saying challenges help me grow actually helps me physically grow? Well, my year three self was thinking quite literally, like it makes me taller. But now I know better that it means that as a person, I grow. Basically, the stepping stone for you to become a successful person always starts from the mind. It's the way that you think and your flow of thoughts that determine whether you're someone with a growth or a fixed mindset. Trust me, I know that people, more like successful people, believe, embody, and follow a specific set of attitudes that typically refer to what we call a growth mindset, where you understand and view failure as an opportunity to grow, that you can do anything that you want, and that your effort and your attitude determine your abilities and your results. It's not it's not just about what you're born with, but it's rather the effort you're willing to put into something in order to learn or grow. This can be applied to all areas of life: school, relationships, family, events, you name it. Whenever the growth mindset is applied into an area of life, let's just say extracurricular activities, over time, everyone calls this as like obsession or talent, even. But in reality, it's just the way that they use their mindset to fuel their desire to grow. Yeah, this is all great, Joshita, but how can I do it? Glad that you asked. I acknowledge that I'm using the website, which is called What is a Growth Mindset and How to Develop It in 9 Steps by Jason Hera to aid with my discussion, including a few of my personal tips and current knowledge to write this out for you guys. Make sure to check the website out. It's a decent and somewhat quick read if you manage to skim through it. But either way, let's get started. The following may sound really simple, and a few of these points that I made by myself are actually a bit personal. It's like my own personal opinion. But trust me, it's super effective if you put your mind to it, and especially when you realize that these tips could be also helpful for you. Number one, recognize the times where you use a fixed mindset and step out of your comfort zone. This is like a two-in-one package. And to make it more relatable, think about a time where you were learning a new math concept in school and you're like, girl, I'm out of this classroom. Screw the teacher, I'm just bad at math, and that's just how it's going to be. Now, I want you to stop there for a second and quickly change it up to a positive phrase like, no, I can do this. I am better at math than I think I am. I just have to put my mind to it. And if I don't get something, I'll just ask the teacher or ethically use AI to explain it for me. Personally speaking, I've heard of another way where you go to a third point of view, like sort of zooming out of yourself and asking a question like, oh, like, why am I saying this? What kind of emotions am I feeling while I'm saying this? Is this something that I should be saying, etc.? But I feel like it just places me, and I'm speaking about like myself, in a downward spiral, and you can just get out of track since all of a sudden you're not even thinking about math anymore. So this can be a great way to bring in the positivity quickly and possibly more effectively. I know it sounds cringe, but you have to do what you must do. To the second part of this, when it comes to stepping out of your comfort zone, it doesn't necessarily mean to wake up tomorrow and run to the office to sign up for a random club at school. It can start with something small, like raising up your hand in class to answer a question, to taking an initiative in group projects, and you can start building up from there once you have gained enough confidence, which will take a while, so please be patient with yourself. Once you're finished with those baby steps, it's time to move on to things which are more daunting yet valuable experiences to add into your life. To get an idea on what kind of daunting yet valuable experiences, it's all about you. You have to spend your time researching in order to figure out what you like, not just blindly following on what I say, what influencers say, and or even celebrities, and crossing your fingers just hoping that it works. Sometimes sometimes it's best to spend like a leisure time reading autobiographies or biographies on successful people, watch videos on how to execute any projects that you've been procrastinating on, and etc. It can be anything. Remember, after the baby steps, with confidence, you must figure out what you truly desire, and this can be anything. Number two, you must realize that those people who are called talented or naturally gifted might be some of the hardest working people that you will ever know, but they just hide it from you and make it seem really effortless. Firstly, if you're not willing to put in that effort, determination, and time to achieve some random goal that you're not even interested in, then don't even consider having that goal in the first place. I know it's kind of harsh, but it shows that you're not even truly passionate about it and that you're just doing it for the sake of like your parents or like peer pressure and stuff. So find something else to do instead. Okay, you know what? I hear you. You're willing to put something into your goals. The main issue here is what kind of goals are they? Don't tell me that you want to drop 10 kgs within a week and expect to be fine the next day. No, 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 no. That is definitely not how your body works. My personal method is to use something called SMART goals. Literally speaking, they're quite smart. Either way, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time based. This is quick and effective because it's not vague, And it means that you won't be achieving your goal in terms of motivation. And not only that, but it's reliable because it's accurate, and also it genuinely matches the current reality that you're facing. I have to acknowledge that I have read the website, which is, quote, How to Write Capital Smart Goals by Indeed Career Guide, unquote, to aid me with this section. So again, read it since it will help you if you want to understand and implement the SMART goal format into your personal life, which I totally 100% recommend. So allow me to show you the difference between a vague and a SMART goal. This is how a vague goal would sound like. I want to get better at managing my time. Well, that is a start. Here's something more specific following the SMART goal structure. For the next 30 days, I will use a planner app to schedule my homework, study time, and extracurricular activities every Sunday night. I'll set daily reminders and aim to stick to my schedule at least 5 days a week. At the end of each week, I'll reflect on what worked and make changes to stay on track and reduce last minute stress. Will you look at that? The SMART goal format is way less overwhelming and actually aligns with whatever time that you currently have, which makes a huge difference since now you know exactly what to do. Number three, celebrate progress, not perfection. I feel like I've mentioned this before in my previous episodes, but I'll repeat it again a million times if I have to, because it is really that vital to understand. I know that you want to achieve a goal as soon as possible, but does success happen overnight? No, never. Continuously keep that in the back of your head. Celebrating your progress would sound something like this. Like, for example, if you got a better grade than last time, if you have done something significant in your line of work, reward yourself a tiny, tiny gift. Do not go overboard with it. And to give you some examples of like really small gifts that you can reward yourself with is something as like a dessert from your favorite cafe, taking a guilt-free break to chill, vibe to music, or do something that you consider fun. It's all up to you, really. Obviously, if it is a huge accomplishment, get something you always wanted, girl. Like, get that new clothes, the new scarf. You deserve it. You could track your progress visually by using a habit tracker or like create a journal to write down your improvements if that helps you. In my case, I have been using a habit tracker to start multiple habits, including new ones that I wanted to do. The reason as to why it didn't help me is because every time I looked at it and see something unfinished, it it made me feel like I couldn't do anything, and instead of like having me to finish it up. So do not feel like you have to stick to something that everyone considers successful because not everything suits everyone. Stick with what makes you feel good. Perhaps another approach could be creating like a progress jar, where you grab a glass jar and write down your small wins on a paper to read at the end of the week or like at the end of the month. So, for example, it could be like this. This week I actually understood that science concept that I used to hate. For me personally, I prefer creating like a milestone moment for myself. So this could go something like finish an assignment early, time to celebrate. You don't want to do this excessively since your parents' bank account might cry rivers. Just giving you a warning right here. Number 4. You need to make sure that you are reflecting your experiences, thoughts, and emotions through this journey so that you just don't spiral out of control. A great way to ensure this is by journaling. Trust me, it is honestly such a vibe to read back to a detailed day, which outlines everything that happened, and sometimes I really laugh my head off. It's really cool to realize that so many things happen in your life, but you don't necessarily acknowledge them unless they're really weird or absurd. At the same time, whenever you write down something that makes you feel anxious or feel like that you're gonna cry at any moment, it helps you calm down and take a perspective on things. It also might give you a slap across the face when you grow older, saying that the problem that you're facing isn't even that serious as to what you're facing right now. You can start off by writing your day in tiny dot points and expand more on them if you want to. I personally just talk about the main things which has happened. Like for example, if I had answered like a really hard question in class, I write that down to reassure myself that I'm not left behind and that I'm actually learning from my mistakes. Other times, I love to use questions so that I focus on the personal development or success aspect of my day. And here are some great prompts to start off with. What did I learn today? What challenged me and how did I respond? And what can I do differently next time? Answering these three questions every day help me keep myself aligned with my personal goals and reflect on any mistakes that I have made and to come up with a solution to fix them. Make sure to forgive yourself if something went wrong, and sometimes those factors are just out of your control. You just need to accept that. Number five, this is honestly a personal tip of mine, especially if you want to become a better or more successful person. Start new habits. I would recommend this one. I would recommend this one only if you have accomplished the ones above. So think of this as level moderate. Habit building requires a lot of patience and consistency. That's for damn sure. I have to admit, right now, I'm not doing so well with my current habits. And let me explain to you guys my dire situation so that you can learn from my mistakes and implement a better first time experience with them, unlike me. So, I have mentioned before that I have started multiple habits. Now, what this means is that I wanted to start at least nine different habits, which were to analyze the news, work on my communication skills, meditation, wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and five more every single day. This is alongside with 3 days of sport and competition days, tutoring, podcasting, and a whole lot of schoolwork, which includes daily homework, assessment tasks, and assignments. It seemed that I've never gotten a break. So my plate was full, but at this point, the food is going to spill over because that was my first mistake. I didn't take into consideration of how overwhelming that would be because I thought that I could handle it all. And all of a sudden, you just see me typing like a lunatic on my Google Doc named Habit Tracker and was feeling proud that I could do something for once. But I was about to begin my habit building journey, and 2 weeks into that, I just stopped doing it altogether. In my first few days, though, I did do them successfully, and I was over the moon. It's just that I implement. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about that stutter. It's just that implemented them so abruptly that my body and mind couldn't get used to it. To give you some context, I'm that kind of person that used to go to school on time or tardy every single day, 5 days of the week. I would barely arrive at class on time, and I used to sleep for like 12 hours daily. So, abruptly changing 12 hours worth of sleep into 8 hours is such a mess to the point that my friends told me that I look sleep deprived and depressed. So, I know that I've been asking you guys to read this website and that, but I have an amazing book recommendation for this, which is called Atomic Habits. I know you guys might have seen this all over your For You page, but trust me, it is some of my favorite books, primarily focusing on implementing habits and understanding on how you can improve in your personal life, but in really short steps. And ever since then, my game has changed. If you are hearing this, it is a sign for you to read it. Shout out to James Clear, by the way. I won't be saying things from the book specifically because I believe that you guys should read it rather than hearing it from me. I'm not sponsoring him. I don't even earn money for making these podcasts. So, to those people who think that I am, it just doesn't add up. Going back into the story, this leads to my point, which is a very huge story, by the way. Start small. Instead of doing nine different habits like I did, start with two or three, even one if you think that you tend to give up quite easily. On top of that, make a tiny version of them. Hypothetically speaking, if your goal is to meditate for 20 to 25 minutes daily, then start with 5 minutes daily. And when you feel comfortable, build it up as you go. You have to be patient because these habits take time. And also, again, progress over perfection. You must focus on showing up and not, and please do not give up because it is advised to do it for at least 30 days consistently to make the habit feel effortless. And even if you don't have 5 minutes for meditation, at least sit down for a few seconds, take deep breaths, and go back into the work that you were doing before. I um I just wanted to mention that it is okay to miss one day, but don't you dare think about skipping 2 days because once you do, all your progress just comes crashing down. And I will be haunting your dreams. That was really weird, but I believe you do get my point. It's like missing two pieces to a pile of rocks in a pyramid. It just crashes right down. So use reminders like alarms or sticky notes to help you remember, especially in the beginning. I want to talk about so much more, but at this rate, it's best if you read the book Atomic Habits because it literally tells you everything you need to start, build, and continue a habit. Give it a shot, guys! Alrighty, finally, we're done. As we come to a close, I invite you to share your defining views of success on our social media or social media page or through our podcast channels. And to be honest, let's just start a conversation and support each other on this journey. And to leave you with some inspiration, here's a powerful quote. Success is not the key to happiness, happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. Albert Schweitzer. I'm going to leave that quote for you to unpack, and don't be afraid to take down notes on what you found that you need to work on. And to be brutally honest with you, there is no better time than to start today. Start right now. And if you don't have any goals, plan it out and build and continuously work on yourself. There is no harm in prioritizing yourself over others. At the end of the day, it's you and you only. Thank you for tuning in. This is Joshita from MYC Uncensored. Remember, your success is what you define it to be. Peace out.